Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome to another Exhumed movie review. Today we're going to be talking about Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. So this movie was suggested to me a few times actually, once by Macabrella and the others from Caleb. I think it was Caleb that suggested it. I'll put both of the comments up here, or if there's more. I feel like it's been suggested more times. So I heard you guys, I'm reviewing the movie. So really quick, let me give you a summary of Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. 5 strangers board a train and are joined by a mysterious fortune teller who offers to read their tarot cards. 5 separate stories unfold. An architect returns to his ancestral home to find a werewolf out for revenge. A doctor suspects his new wife is a vampire. An intelligent vine takes over a house. A jazz musician plagiarizes music from a voodoo ceremony. And a pompous art critic is pursued by a disembodied hand. All right, so fun fact about this movie. This whole film was a conscious attempt by one of the producers, Milton Subotsky. Hope I said that name right, to replicate Dead of Night, which is another horror anthology that I reviewed on this channel, so I'll link it up here if you haven't seen that yet. And I personally loved the movie, which also Milton did as well. He considered it to be one of the greatest horror films ever, so this movie was, you know, him being inspired by that film, which I thought was cool. All right, so let's get into what I liked about Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. I will say I really liked the framing for the 5 stories, like them having their fortunes told and then the stories being like what their future is going to be. I thought that was really cool and a really like creative way to frame these 5 stories. And I mean, the cast obviously did an amazing job. It's a star-studded cast. We have Donald Sutherland, which I think, don't quote me, this is his first feature film, if not one. Definitely one of his first. I don't know if it's his actual first movie ever. Also has Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing as well. Peter Cushing playing Dr. Terror, which, you know, it's a star-studded cast. It's amazing. As it is an anthology, I have to talk about my favorite segment, which was Christopher Lee's segment. So Christopher Lee plays an art critic, and he is, you know, he's an art critic and he's an asshole about it. So an artist kind of gets revenge and plays a trick on him, and it just like spirals out of control. I thought his character in the movie was hilarious. Like seriously, like he just plays this, like, for the bulk of the movie, like his segment is the second to last segment to go because he's playing kind of like the skeptic in the train cabin. Like all the other guys are kind of interested, like, ooh, read my tarot cards. So what's it, you know, what's the cards say about me? And the whole time Lee is just sitting there like, I can't believe you believe this, blah, 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 blah. And he's so hilarious in the movie. I find him to be incredibly funny. Not to mention that the shorts were also really creative. I mean, of course we have like a werewolf and a vampire story, but the one about the vine, the plant that's attacking them, I thought was super creative. Jazz one, where the guy steals a voodoo ritual song and bad shit happens to him. I thought those ones were really creative, and yet things that, like, down to their core were classic stories that you heard of before. Like some of them were just kind of like classic irony, like Christopher Lee's segment was just classic irony. Which I'll just give away the ending. It's a super old movie because I thought it was so good. So basically what happens is the artist plays a trick on him, and, you know, kind of makes a fool out of him in front of all these people that admire his opinion on art. So being frustrated and embarrassed, he runs over the artist with his car, destroys his hand to the point where they have to cut it off, or the car accident, he like runs over his hand or something and it separates his hand, obviously rendering him incapable of creating art anymore. So the artist kills himself, and Lee is haunted by this severed hand that keeps coming to try and kill him. And eventually the hand does win. While Lee is driving, he crashes his car and he's pretty much okay, except he's completely blind. Which is just, you know, that's the big irony at the end. Like, you know, he's gotten his revenge. Like, he's gonna live, but he's not gonna be able to be this huge prominent art critic anymore because he can't see. And I just thought that was great. It was just like classic irony, and it was just really well done. Has a lot of comedy in it, a lot of gore. I liked it. All right, but now let's get into what I didn't like about Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. I feel like having 5 segments plus a wraparound was kind of a lot. I feel like, at least for this movie, I feel like it was a lot. Like, I feel like the running time, I don't know what the actual running time of the movie was, but I feel like it wasn't that long because some of the segments felt super short, or super rushed, I should say. So I feel like some of the segments did really well with the time they were given. Like, it, you know, it fit perfectly. Like, I didn't feel like it was too long or too short, but some of them I feel like they were just rushed so much, you know, like just trying to fit the time that they were allotted or whatever. I kind of wish the movie had been like a little bit longer to give more time to some of the segments, or some of the segments just being cut. All right, and this is kind of a nitpicky thing, and I'm definitely gonna spoil the ending here. So this is an older movie, so I'm not that worried about spoiler alerts, but you know, just to be fair, if you still wanna watch it, I am gonna talk about the ending. I feel like I didn't really understand what Dr. Terror was trying to do. So if you haven't seen the movie, or you know, and you just don't care about the spoilers, basically the whole twist is Dr. Terror is death. He's the Grim Reaper, and at the very end of the movie, it's revealed that the train crashed, there was an accident, and the 5 men in this cabin are dead. And I was kind of just wondering, like, okay, well, if that's what was happening, why was he just sitting in the cabin with them and like reading their futures that obviously weren't gonna happen? Like, just to scare them or something before they died? Or like, was he just playing around? Like, what the hell? Like, is that what death does? Like, when you're dying, like, were they in the process of dying and he's just like, I'm just gonna scare you further while you move from life to death? Like, I don't know, I just didn't really understand that. Like, why, like, after that's revealed that that's who Dr. Terror is, like, why, well, like, what the whole point of the rest of the movie was, if that makes sense. And I love how just the 5 of them die. So like, when they get off the train and they're clearly like in the afterlife, like everything's foggy and deserted, they find a newspaper and they open it up, and it's just like one of those cheesy like headlines just made for the movie, and it just says 5 dead in train accident. So it's just those 5 guys that died out of a whole train accident. Just those 5 gentlemen died. It's just super like comical. If you don't think about it, it's really not that serious of an issue. Like, you know, why death was reading their fortunes and whatever, and stuff like that, and like why it was just the 5 of them that died. Like, it's kind of comical if you don't think too much about it. I think I was just thinking too much about it, but I had to throw that in there. I don't know. Was Dr. Terror's House of Horrors worth it? I still say yes. I still think it was definitely worth it. The shorts were, you know, good mixes of horror and comedy. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. I liked it. It was good. On IMDb, it has a 6.8 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, there's no critic score, but it has a 62% audience score. And on Letterboxd, it has an average score of 3.2 out of 5. So I was able to see this on YouTube. If I can find it anywhere else, I will also provide links for that in the comments section. I couldn't find it anywhere to rent, so I found a channel on YouTube that was showing the whole movie. So I'll link that video in the description box for you if you want to watch it. It's free. So if you've seen Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about it. As always, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a creepy peep today, and ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I post a video, which is Monday through Friday regularly. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.